it just kind of seems like it's becoming a trend instead of a true desire to connect to culture. And that's different. If there's a true desire to connect back to the culture and to try to create a streamline for all of us to work together, I'm all about that. I mean, I'm very big on that. But a lot of it also, too, to me, just seems like a trend.
Welcome to Pan-African Lifestyle, where we rep the motherland. We post content regularly and invite you to subscribe if you're a pal. That's a Pan-African Lifestyler.
There's just been this lack of acceptance of us for the longest. It was never cool to be African. I mean, I felt like nobody wanted to be associated with being African. And now all of a sudden, it's cool to own your culture. Now everybody wants to be African again. And it's not everybody, but there's a lot of people that I've gotten that vibe from. It just kind of seems like it's becoming a trend instead of a true desire to connect to culture. And that's different. If there's a true desire to connect back to the culture and to try to create a streamline for all of us to work together, I'm all about that. I mean, I'm very big on that. But a lot of it also, too, to me, just seems like a trend.
I felt like I was meeting Africans who had grown up here, Nigerians who had grown up here, and I felt like they were a little bit like, I don't want to say
suppressing their culture.
Yeah, they were a little bit like maybe
not as proud.
Yeah, but I could always sort of like hold on to my culture as like strength for me. So I was able to move through these spaces because I knew where I was from. You couldn't tell me shit. I came from a country where everyone was black. All black people were on TV. All black people were excellent. Like school in Nigeria was just ridiculous. So I don't know. I felt like the Nigerians who grew up here, like you could tell that there was some self-esteem, like something had been done a little bit to the self-esteem.
The narrative that, Africa is this dark place, this like, very, disease-ridden place, that was kind of the narrative that we grew up with. Because the best way to force somebody into assimilation into a culture is to strip them of their own culture, and the best way to do that is to shame them of their culture. And that was happening a lot. And people don't recognize that that's what they were doing.
Of course, yeah.
Because you don't recognize the ladders of the bullshit that happens in your culture and your community. Thinking like I couldn't understand like as a child, and that's something that I think comes with me now. And I'm one of those people who had very big issues with my name. I would give some other random name because I was tired of being shamed, and it's something that has happened to African Americans, even though they're generations removed from it. It's that same shame that they were felt, and it's also there's a lot of African Americans who even now refuse to connect themselves to Africa because of the shame connected with Africa.
How am I weird because I happen to come from a certain country? It's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, if anything, I think it's a good thing. It's like, we have so much culture. This should be like a learning example. Like, you guys can exchange something, but it's like.
Usually when I meet people who grew up here, they found ways to blend into the system. A lot of things are just subliminal.
That rift and that negative tension where it's like the two of us are meeting and it's like we look alike, we should be alike, but we're not being able to understand and accept each other, and what we've been through and why we went through it.
The pain and the rejection of not being able to assimilate to people that look like you. I think we have to really contextualize and understand what is our generation's responsibility in feeling the divide. People who have been educated, a culture, and brought up here, what is our responsibility to really heal the divide? And that's where I wanted to see the conversation go. Because I think too often we get caught up in identity, and we don't really understand the ideology that's important to adopt, which is Pan-Africanism.
It really isn't Africans' fault, African Americans' fault. It's the media fault.
If we're blaming the media, like media is an agent of socialization. So be conscious of what you're consuming or seek out more information about people that you want to know. There's literally no excuse right now.
I really think that the division between African American and Africans doesn't necessarily need to exist.
So if we are going to survive, we have to educate and arm ourselves with the information. If Black people don't own the Black experience, we don't own culture. All the little things that have come to signify our identity.
And it might be the number one difference is just the mindset, the mind frame. Like our parents came over here with the mindset that this is temporary. I'm gonna be here for maybe 20, 30, 40 years, and I'm gonna go back. My dad, he hasn't missed a summer going back to Nigeria every summer, and he's building houses, buying land for a reason. He doesn't want to retire here and live here for what? And I have that mindset. I'm a millennial, and he instilled that into me, and God willing, I'm going to instill that into my children and their children, and so on and so forth.
Thanks for tuning in to Pan-African Lifestyle. Share your thoughts in the comment section and follow us at Pan-African Lifestyle to be in the know and for a chance to win awesome giveaways. Keep repping the motherland.